this may help to explain about unconformities and why famous boundaries like the Permian-Triassic uh, boundary, where everything, was almost killed on the Earth, and the KT boundary, when the asteroid hit, killed the dinosaurs, why sometimes those layers aren't there to walk up and inspect. It depends on your location. So let's look at this map here of the area east of town. And let's click over here. And now I'll see some charts, they butt everything up next to each other. So it could be confusing because it makes a person think that if they walk up a canyon and look at the layers, they're seeing everything is what's called conformably on top of each other, like sediments just kept accumulating indefinitely, like pages in a book. And you the oldest there at the bottom, and you go up, and KT boundary 65 million years ago, I should be able to go up, and there it is. But that's not the way it is, and the graphs can be confusing, like this one. Okay, see, everything is butted up against each other. But there's periods of erosion, uplift and erosion. There's periods of where in a basin material was accumulating. And so that's what these things are, really, and they're butted up against each other. But there's a lot of erosion in there and unconformities that isn't shown. So let's see if I can get back to where I was. So now let's look at this and how it relates to what we see in the field when we're hiking. Okay, so now here's Cretaceous and Jurassic, Triassic, Tertiary, relatively recent stuff, Miocene. Now the Miocene would be like the Horse Spring Formation, let's say 30 million years ago, stuff that's accumulated. So here it is. See, Horse Spring Formation, all this stuff up in here. Don't try to figure what each and every thing is. It doesn't matter. But notice that there's an unconformity here. See, Cretaceous, KB, but the unconformity here and an unconformity there. And there's our Jurassic sandstone. That's what that stands for. See, Jurassic. Okay, there's our sandstone. So this is why that you can't go up and look at layers and every single famous boundary expect to see it. It may be gone. It may have been instantly eroded because to preserve the boundary, stuff would have had to been deposited on top of it to preserve it. Like when the asteroid hit and the stuff that rained down, well, the area could have been uplifting, and that could have been washed away in 50 years or whatever. So look at what we have here. Here's the Horse Spring Formation, and there's a gap. So you butt this down, cut out that gap, and you butt it together with this. What do you got? You've got Horse Spring Formation directly on Cretaceous, which is exactly what you see. Like in my video when I went up to the Cretaceous, what was on top of that sandstone? Horse Spring Formation. Horse Spring Formation. Rainbow Gardens conglomerate was on top of it. Okay. So now let's take, here we're at the Cretaceous, here's an unconformity, here's Jurassic. Now butt this together, but this together with this, and butt this together down on top of this, wiping out and making invisible that unconformity that's there. So then that would mean you would have Cretaceous directly on top of Jurassic sandstone, which is exactly what you will see when you're out hiking. If you go to an area where there is Cretaceous, it will be directly sitting on top of the Jurassic sandstone. So the Jurassic sandstone, let's say 180 million. Okay, and this Cretaceous is 100 million. So in other words, 80 million years of erosion is missing in here. So that's what's confusing. Now it turns out in our area, the unconformity, well, the Cretaceous boundary, when the asteroid hit, it's mostly washed away. It's, as far as I know, it's all washed away. But that's why charts like this, they confused me, and they still can be confusing because they butt everything up against each other when that's not actually what it is. A person could look over here and see Eocene, Paleocene by the names and then deduce that material is missing, but you don't see it. You don't see it. So a person goes up here and they go, where's the KT boundary? And you don't see it. Now you jump here and now suddenly it says Paleocene Tertiary. And then now up here you have the stuff you see on the surface. Right up here, you see that on the surface when you're out hiking. In other words, just garbage that's recently been washed down. That's what makes it so confusing.